Hi guys, Ian from footballboots.co.uk here, and today I'm looking at the pink blue F50 as worn by the likes of Gareth Bale and Marcelo, and also Real Madrid teammate James Rodriguez. These are adidas's lightweight speed boots, and they have a one-piece, the first piece is hybrid touch, real thin hybrid touch at the front, and then we've got speed foil at the back here. So this blue pink with the white on it is another battle pack design, this time a bit more colour than the white black you saw at the World Cup. In essence it's the same boot. There have been a few changes with the F54 as they've come out. A few little changes that Adidas have made that you might not notice if you haven't had them before, but if you had had a previous pair and you had issues with them, then it's worth taking a look at. Now, one thing they've done, and I've just done my boot up, but I actually might just take it off again to show you, is on previous versions of the F50, especially on the pair of messy ones that we had at one point, was the entire tongue was in the speed foil. Now what that meant was, when you got down to the bottom of the tongue here, there was little sharp bits that could catch on the top of your foot, and we didn't like that at all. Anyway, what we noticed is there's now a almost leather, probably a suede backing underneath at the bottom here, and the tongue is then joined together just as the hybrid touch is joined to the speed foil on the outside. So that's one change that Adidas have made. Another change, and we'll be able to show you in the close-ups, is it's a little bit more cushioned at the back around the heel here. Some people had found that the speed foil on your heel was a bit rough on your ankles, and it's a little bit more cushioned around here than it was on previous versions of this same boot. So something to bear in mind when you're looking at the latest version of the F50 that we have here. So these F50s weigh 150 grams. Other players to wear them: Luis Suarez, Thomas Muller, Diego Costa, Robin van Persie, although he wears the leather version. Let's talk a little bit about the Dribble text which has been applied to the hybrid touch. Now on the original launch F50, the blue ones, it was everywhere, all over the front here. On the battle pack you're only finding it on half, so it's only on the pink on this half. And it comes through, it's not on the white Adidas stripes here. So the Dribble text is only here, just in those areas. And the idea is to aid control. You could think of it a little bit like a ACC coating, I suppose, but it's just these thin lines applied on onto the boot. So what do we think of it? It doesn't do a huge amount. You're not really going to notice the difference, especially if Adidas had decided to take off half of it from the original F50. Have you lost half of your control? I don't think so. They're not going to make a huge difference. Obviously it's a nice little touch and another design element. It looks kind of cool with these little lines. Kind of reminds me of the Predator Instinct zones or as such. So yeah, that's Dribble text. Talk a bit about the speed foil. Adidas say that it's inspired by the fastest sailboats. I say that it's how they've managed to get the weight down to 150 grams for an F50. So you've got the thin hybrid touch around the front, and then there's this seam across here which joins into the speed foil, which goes all the way around the back of the heel and pops out around the other side, and you can see it running all the way around down to here, and it's joined again here. Now it's also on the tongue. On the original F54s when they launched, the entire tongue was in the speed foil, and that really dropped the weight. But for comfort, I think Adidas realized that they needed to make this part of the tongue into a more comfortable material, so it doesn't dig into the top of your foot here, which we experienced in the launch versions. And now only half of the tongue is in the speed foil and half is in something a bit more comfortable, and you've got the seam that runs across through here as well. So that's the deal with that, and it's a great innovation. It doesn't matter what this part of your boot is for playing football. Even when people had leather boots, you'd have leather at the front and you could have synthetic at the back. It's just a way to drop the weight, and that's why the speed foil's there, reduce the weight. Another thing which with the speed foil and this kind of almost plastic feel to it was that people would say that it was a bit kind of sore on the ankles and stuff, and Adidas have added in a bit more comfort into this the heel lining here, and that just means it's a much more comfortable wear, even though it has the really lightweight speed foil at the back. Right, I'm just going to whip these off and we can talk a bit about the sole. And the new thing with these is the speed traction sole plate, and what it means is they've got this central firm ground stud placement here, and the idea is you can pivot around this point. So just grab these. This is the Traction 2.0 stud configuration, and you can see they're very similar. It's just all about this central pivot point here, and if you look at the back, the heel studs at the back are exactly the same. Now, talking about how well these play and all that kind of stuff, adidas do all the testing and they're going to know what does and doesn't work. So if you're somebody who likes a lot of quick turns and things like that, then you're going to find this advantageous to you. If you already like the original Traction 2.0, and then you might decide this isn't for you, but to be honest, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. You're not really going to notice a huge difference from it. It's not like you're looking about something that's really good and something which isn't very good. They're both really good sole plates, and this is just a little tweak that Adidas have made, and you shouldn't really notice any difference, and if you do, it'll only be of benefit. Right, let's take a look at probably the most important part of the boot, the bit which is going to be making contact with the ball, and that's this hybrid touch upper that they've got on this generation of the F50. Previous generations of the F50 came with a synthetic upper. Now this is a synthetic, but it's much more leather-like hybrid touch. First originally seen on the lethal zones. They've brought it to the F50 now to try and give you that little bit more leather-like performance, getting the benefits of both. And it's a lot thinner on here than it was on the lethal zones, or perhaps say the nitro charge. And so one thing you're going to notice when you're playing is that it is really thin on the top. If somebody puts their stud on that, it is going to hurt. But then you probably know that already if you're wearing boots like the F50 or the Vapor or something like that. You know the boots are thin. If somebody treads on you, then it's going to hurt. And if you're playing in certain positions, you're not going to want to wear these boots. They're not made for your central defenders. They are made for your quick and pacey wingers and centre forwards. That's why the likes of Messi and James Rodriguez wear them. And the hybrid touch wraps from this point here, where you've got the speed foil stops, and then you've got hybrid touch all the way around here, all the way around here, all the way around to here. And the hybrid touch is a great material. It's really easy to clean. It's really protected from the elements and water and all that kind of stuff, but it does give you a great touch on the ball, and you're going to enjoy playing in these, and certainly better than playing in a straight up synthetic pair of speed boots. So that's about it for hybrid touch. Right, let's talk a little bit about fit. Now, I have pretty average feet, certainly not wide, and I find that these fit pretty well for me. If you do have wider feet, then you might want to consider something along the lines of the Predators. These have got a much wider fit going on than the F50s. They are relatively narrow, and you will find that they hug your foot all the way through. They're not going to stretch much when you wear them. So bear that in mind, and if you want something for a slightly wider fit, then you should be considering perhaps the leather 11 Pros. You might even consider a leather F50 so that it will stretch for you, or you're going to be thinking about the Instinct, which will definitely be a good wide fit for you. So if you have narrow feet, then you might want to go for these. They're narrower, and they have this central lacing that runs through the middle, so that suits too. To wrap up with the F50, they're suited for wingers and strikers. The players that wear them are a pretty good indication of how good these boots are. You've seen players in the Premier League, at the World Cup, wearing the F50s, and they continue to dominate doing so as well. So you know that they're definitely a good boot. They are super lightweight. They're the lightest boots you can get on the market today. This colorway is bright, it's vibrant, it's definitely going to stand out on the pitch. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Go +1 us on Google+, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all those kind of good things. Show us some love and go enjoy your football.